So, welcome to another episode of the Wild Mom podcast. I have a very special guest speaker, Ismat, and she is going to be providing us with a wealth of knowledge. So, Ismat is a health practitioner. Again, Ismat, you got to help me with this.
Academician.
Academician, international speaker, healer, and a pioneer and practitioner in Ayurvedic neurotherapy. And she's worked with prenatal, pregnancies, and postpartums for 3 decades. And so I am so excited to have you on the podcast. Welcome, Ismat. Welcome to the show. Tell me a little bit more about yourself, and we'll get right into this episode.
Thank you, Emily, for inviting me, and hello, everyone. So let's begin with myself. As Emily said, I'm a practitioner of Ayurvedic medicine. Some of you might know about it, and some of you might wonder what that is. Ayurvedic medicine is a sister science of yoga. That's what it's been called as. They have the similar philosophy of health, wellness, consciousness, awareness. And Ayurveda is all about understanding who you are, what is your constitution, and aligning it with the course of nature, like season, day, night, and with pregnant women, aligning with the cycle of your pregnancies. So that's what Ayurveda in a nutshell is all about. I started my journey as a health provider at a very young age, and in India, we get initiated by gurus who are the wise people or enlightened in the areas of health and consciousness. And that's where I got initiated at the age of 16. So I started to learn at a very young age, but of course, my professional life started at the age of 24. So, yes, since then, I've worked in three continents, uh, India, Europe, and now in North America and based in Canada.
I love that. And just to share with our audience a little bit of history for us, I've had 2 sessions with you now, and
Right.
I came to you because I was experiencing a lot of postpartum anxiety and depression and anger, and I just felt disconnected from my daughter, which I know a lot of listeners and viewers experience as well. And the work that we did together, let me just tell you, Ismat, it has been life changing. I've been raving about you since our first session because it has been so impactful on my relationship with my daughter. I've noticed a drastic shift in my ability to remain calm. And so you mentioned something about the cycles of pregnancy. Can you dive deeper into that? Because I don't think I even knew about the cycles of pregnancy.
Right. So, in Ayurvedic medicine, the basic principle is that we look into three bioenergies that is called as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. That is air energy, fire energy, and water energy. And these three bioenergies basically uh, take through life changes from childhood to youth to aging. The three are constantly involved, and so they are in pregnancy. So when we are looking at pregnancy, the first trimester is considered where the vata or air energy is high. And that's why you have symptoms like you might feel anxious, you might not feel sure about the pregnancy,
I felt that.
uh, you might be jittery, indecisive, and would have a sudden outbreak of crying, anger, whatever that would look like for you. So that's air energy where things are very much moving, they're shifting, they're changing. Second phase or second trimester is called as the fire bioenergy, pitta, which is very strong. You're so much hungry, you want to eat all the time. And your whole focus now is on your body, your baby, what you like, what you don't like, and no one can come in that territory. And then the third phase of pregnancy, which is kapha, and this is the water bioenergy, where now body starts to slow down. Like, I don't know how I can go through another day, and I don't want to know anyone. I just want to stay in my own comfort zone. So this is how the three phases of the pregnancy is understood from the lens of Ayurveda. And if any Ayurvedic practitioner has to work with a pregnant woman, all they do is they look into how to keep these bioenergies in balance so you can enjoy your pregnancy to the fullest. If you can imagine, like in the vata or air bioenergy phase of your pregnancy, if the water energy kicks in, then of course you would feel completely different. You'll be so tired all the time. You would have no appetite. You just don't want to do anything. So that enjoyment shifts of being pregnant. And that's what an Ayurvedic practitioner would do, make sure that you're enjoying each phase of your pregnancy to its fullest by keeping these bioenergies in check.
I wish I knew about you and about Ayurveda and its power before I got pregnant because I had such morning sickness with my daughter.
Right.
It was terrible. So I experienced that within the first 3 months. So does that mean that there was an imbalance? And what are some of the other imbalances in each of the different phases and cycles that women should be looking out for as a sign that, hey, I need to come see Ismat and get some healing done on this?
Right. So, nausea and vomiting is very much a common symptom in the first trimester. If that continues in the second trimester, then that's considered imbalance. But how to keep this nausea and vomiting in check? That is how we would keep the vata in balance or the air bioenergy in balance so that the uh, impacts of that feeling of nausea or vomiting it doesn't take over your life.
Okay,
Right? So
interesting.
first trimester, of course, if you're feeling like a lot of body aches, or you're getting extremely exhausted, or you are getting all puffed up, or you're sleeping too much, then that is something that we would start to look into balancing things out. Otherwise, a lot of it is natural progression. You just have to understand what pregnancy is and nurture yourself accordingly.
Okay, so there is a question here.
Right.
Is there a phase for preconception?
Oh, yes, totally. So preconception, again, the entire understanding of pregnancy is women is considered as the soil. And
You say soil?
soil, that's right. Like this is the philosophical understanding that the woman is the soil and men are the seed. So they are basically seeding it in the soil. So your reproductive system is Mother Earth, and the way you would prepare the Mother Earth before you would sow a seed, that's how the prenatal care is. So your body is completely prepared, cleaned up with things that are not needed in your body. And sometimes that could be foods that you were consuming that are not suiting you, certain lifestyle that is not suiting you. So preparing your body to become pregnant. So it's a process. It's about 3 to 6 months process, depending how much of imbalance, hormonal imbalance of women have. But it's a 3 to 6 months process of preparing the body. And if that is prepared, then the pregnancy is relatively smooth.
I think that's something that's so important because especially since like I know for myself when I first started getting my period, I was pushed on birth control and that
Right.
just messes up everything for the hormonal system. So for some women who may still be on it and just wanted to get off and get pregnant the next month, I can see how the body might not be ready for it because there's so much imbalance going on. There's so much of the body saying, well, what's going on now? We had help before, now we don't. Now we're supposed to conceive. And so, is there anything that needs to be removed? I know certain things like alcohol, for example, but is there anything that, based on your Ayurvedic practice and wisdom, that needs to be removed prior to pregnancy to really create that healthy, nourishing soil, as you mentioned before?
Absolutely. So, like any weather change, when there is a change in climate, like that's what we are going through, we try to change everything from a closet to our footwear. Similarly, when you want your body to shift from A phase to B phase, there has to be certain preparation. One of the ways of preparing is cleansing. You would like to clean your closet out, right? When there's change of weather and you're trying to put in new pair of clothes and remove. So that's an analogy I'm giving. But that's what is the first step, is that you need to take your body through some process of cleansing. That means taking away. And you rightly said alcohol is one of the things, sugar, any synthetic food preservatives. So definitely we look into that, but also mindset and lifestyle is very important. So if you're into your lifestyle of go, 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 do,
That was
that
me.
all that all needs to be kind of not 100% removed, but definitely needs to be reduced. So similar principle, recycle, reduce, and reuse. So certain things needs to be reduced, certain things needs to be recycled in sense of your body energy. So your focus of your body energy needs to shift from external to internal, and of course reuse whatever you have, the stamina or the positivity that you have in your body. So that's very important, to look at your body in a positive manner, not in a negative manner. So that positivity is very important for reusing your mind, body, spirit energy, because that's what will give you a total connection with your baby, with your fetus.
And I love how you brought this in because I really wanted to get deeper into now the postpartum care.
Mm-hmm.
This is where so many women I find and so many moms I feel fall off the self-care and the nourishment because now all the attention's on the baby.
That's right.
And you had mentioned something that was so important for postpartum care that I didn't even know was a thing, and that was blood cleansing. So
Mm-hmm.
please dive deeper into that. What is blood cleansing? Why is it important for moms postpartum? And how can it help us connect with our child deeper?
Right. So you came at a later stage of, yeah, you had already given a birth to child, your child was already 6 months and over.
Yeah,
That's when the blood cleansing is recommended, not immediately after a woman has given a birth. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I don't
thank you.
want people to go on cleansing as soon as they give birth. But as soon as you give birth, in whatever period between 0 to 1 year of your baby's life, the mother is still very important. Like you were very important in pregnancy, even after your pregnancy, after your childbirth, a woman is very important, is because your connection is still very strong with your child. If you're nursing and your body is kind of struggling, then the nutrients that are going into your baby are not the best. So still that nourishment for the woman needs to be continued. And I know this is very cultural in North America, 3 months, 4 months maternity leave, and the women goes back to work.
It's insane.
And yeah, it's insane. And sometimes it becomes very challenging as well. But the more support system you can have around you, whether it be your other women, parents, siblings, friends, family, whatever you can, um, or even doulas are there. And if you can afford one, definitely go for it. It's not a waste of money at all. But what I mean to say is that you really need to create that support system around you. We know we are strong and we can do it alone, but if you have the support system, it becomes really, really easy and the transition is great. So coming back to the first few months of your childbirth, nurture yourself again with healthy food. Make sure that if you're nursing, make sure that you're also resting as your baby's resting, because rest here is very important. After 6 months, once your baby starts to kind of, go towards more food rather than nursing, that's when you can start to clean yourself. And the cleansing process in the blood is basically removing any residues. So in pregnancy, your body makes a lot of hormones, and some hormones do not leave your body naturally. Some do through the bleeding process, and some don't. And if these hormones are unused and they're still present in your bloodstream, they can give you a lot of symptoms. as much as postnatal depression. They can give you skin issues. They can give you weight gain, can give you a lot of other hair falls and things like that. Or you might not be able to build a healthy blood path. So that's where the blood cleansing comes in.
So is a lot of people don't know about Ayurveda, and a lot of
Right.
people don't know about the importance of blood cleansing. And I've heard so many times that it takes about 2 years for a woman's body to fully come
Re-
back after pregnancy, to where it used to be. Now, is that because as soon as I had the session with you and I heard about blood cleansing, I started to think, is it only because naturally it will take 2 years if you don't have any intervention, but if you actually do practices like you've done with me and implemented into my life about the blood cleansing and balancing hormones and everything else, can then the body come back to its balanced state faster than 2 years?
Yeah, so 2 years is the maximum period. Not
Okay.
necessarily everyone takes 2 years. Some women can take even 8 months. Some women can take, 1 year, and some women can take 2 years. But if this continues over 2 years, then it is considered as an imbalance. So definitely it needs to be treated.
Okay.
Prior to that, you require support. There's a difference between the body requiring a support and a treatment. What you got, Emily, was a support. I know it's magical for you, but from my end, it wasn't anything. It was just supporting your body at the right time in the right manner. That's it. So there's a support that is required. But if this had continued over 2 years, then of course a much more therapeutic intervention would have been required. So the earlier you are able to get on to this kind of, nurturing yourself, understanding what is required, you'll be able to go through this transition in a very smoother way. And that's what Ayurveda is. It's not just about it's called as lifestyle medicine as well. It's not about just treating. It's about understanding who you are and working from that place. And just to leave something for the audience, so that's where bitter foods come in. So a lot of the food tasting and the taste of food like bitter, sweet, astringent, sour. These are the kind of taste of food that we kind of recommend women. So right after pregnancy, you want to consume a little bit of bitter foods. And bitter foods are basically the ones that will help in cleansing the blood, cleansing the lymphatic system. Um, when you're looking into the first trimester and you're having nausea and all that, sour food is recommended. So that's how different tastes are recommended. Not that you don't eat any other food, but you eat more of sour in the first trimester, right? In the second trimester, you consume more of sweet, but naturally occurring sweet food, not the synthetic sweets like maple syrup and fruits and naturally occurring. And then in the third trimester, you want to go more on foods that are astringent, and that's when you actually want to start consuming a little bit of mild bitters like maybe green leafy vegetables, and then once you've given birth, you go on something that is more bitter like rapini. So examples like this, you have more
Mhm.
of those soups, warm foods that will help in that process. So you don't have to always see a practitioner.
Mhm.
If you are aware of it, then you can do it yourself.
And one of the things that I just wanted to bring up, because our sessions together, both of our sessions, was so was so eye-opening. And one of the reasons why I've fallen in love with Ayurveda, one, because my mom's fallen in love with it, and so she talks about it all the time and talks about you all the time. But also because it really, like you said, is a whole lifestyle, right? It
Right,
is, you looked at my eyes, my fingers, my tongue, you understood like that every part of who I am, it it ties back to that dosha, right? And
right.
balancing that dosha, and especially in different seasons, is so powerful. So can you just describe a little bit about the doshas so that way the listeners can kind of get an understanding of how important it is to know your dosha
Right.
in order to best support your wellness pre-pregnancy, pregnancy, and postpartum.
Definitely. So doshas is what I explained as the vata, pitta, kapha, or the bioenergies. Is that's what is called as doshas in Sanskrit. And we all are made up of all three, but in a constitution, we might have one or two predominating. So, Emily, can I give you example?
Hmm.
If you give me the permission,
Yeah.
one of the dominant bioenergy that she had, or the dosha that she had, was air. And
Oh yeah.
just understanding that that's what is predominating, and that is also the culprit now of imbalances. That's how we looked into taking care. So that's what, in a nutshell. Of course, there's a whole big theory about the dosha. You're more than welcome to go on a website and read a little bit about what Ayurveda is. There are blogs, articles as well, where you can get more understanding, and can also join in into a free webinars whenever we are offering them. And thank you, Emily. I think I might put one on postpartum care webinar so people can get some more tips
Yeah.
on how to take care of themselves.
Please do, and I'll make sure to add all the links to the show notes for this episode as well. Now, my last question for you, and then we'll wrap up for today. How does a mom's imbalance, so whether she has too much of the extra hormones running through her, whether it is that her dosha's out of balance or her constitution's out of balance, however you say it, sorry if I butchered that, um, how does that affect the baby, especially if you're breastfeeding?
So definitely you, because if you're breastfeeding, everything goes good and bad, everything goes into your baby, right? So if there's an imbalance, those imbalances can possibly impact the baby unless the baby has their own resilience and immunity that is so well developed. And that is also something that important to look into, is developing a child's immunity or the baby's immunity. And that is where baby massages are so highly recommended.
Hmm.
So you don't have to fear that your imbalances are now gone into your baby and your baby will suffer it. A regular baby massage with warm oil, and you can choose any oil. Just be mindful, because these days a lot of babies have skin allergies and sensitivity. So you want to check it out a little bit. But you can use as simple as olive oil, warm it up, and do a full body massage. There are a lot of YouTube videos that can guide you all. But if not, just apply just that touch, because babies are very sensitive to touch, and especially to mother's touch. Mothers, grandparents, father, like where they feel that connectivity, and that's how the immunity develops. So that's what you can do, and not be fearful, because I don't want any mother out there to be fearful, right?
Mhm.
But yes, at the same time, you need to work on yourself so that those impurities are not passed down. And it's also good for you, because then that's what it is. You want to enjoy that connectivity, that connection with your child, right?
Mhm.
And if you're not enjoying that connectivity, you are also developing imbalances. Like imbalances just kinds of, continues to get bigger and bigger. So it's very important to take care of them. And the earlier you can, the better it is. So as soon as you understand that symptom, like Emily, you were amazing. You knew that something was not right, and you asked for help, and that's what it is, asking for help. Ayurvedic medicine, of course, is very profound in the whole
Very.
prenatal, postpartum, pregnancy care. But then you also have TCM, naturopathy. So wherever you want to go, but being connected and asking for that help is important.
I love all of that. And I am definitely coming to you for when I have my next baby. I'm coming to you before I get pregnant. You're gonna be with me throughout the whole pregnancy because I just see how powerful it's been. You implemented holy basil tea into my diet, and I felt so much more connected with my daughter. She's drinking it now. She absolutely
Right,
loves it. And it's
right.
just like small changes like this has been so impactful in our relationship and my postpartum anxiety and anger. And I know that you are going to be helping so many more moms, if not all the moms in this community, everyone else who listens to this podcast. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up here today, for being here, for sharing your beautiful wisdom. I know you're going to be back on this podcast because as soon as people get a taste of your wisdom and magic, they're going to be like, Emily, I have more questions, bring her back. So my last question for you is where can we find you? How can people get in contact with you so they can start working with you?
Right. So I would love to help everyone out there, but right now I'm a little limited in the number of people I can take in. But I have a team of experts. We have Dr. Sairupa. She's an ND as well as an Ayurvedic practitioner, and she focuses a lot on her specialization is in fertility. So those who are also having difficulty getting pregnant, prenatal, pregnancy, postpartum. So any one of us in the team will be happy to help you. And as I said, you all can also join in whenever we have the webinars. Stay connected through our education because that's what we love is educating you all.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll add all the links to everything that was provided in the show notes. I thank you again. And I hope you have an enjoyable day. And thank you, everyone who tuned in live, who listened to the replay. Make sure you leave a review. Go connect with Ismat and sending you all so much love. Bye.
Take care. Bye, Emily. Bye.